All hail the Lecher, bitch. Hey, I'm Llytic.
And I'm also here, regrettably.
Yeah, that is pretty regrettable. Anyway, we're doing What Are We Reading? Still in the month of Spooptober. And decided, for the last week, how about we do callbacks to the first week? So today we're doing the origin of Laughing Jack.
Yeah.
Which
You scared Tom off, though. Too much spooky stories.
Well, it's one of those regrettable things when you have someone who reincarnates.
He's mid-reincarnation right now. He's still in his baby phase. We couldn't have him on here even if we wanted to. All we get is babbles.
No, the issue is more the fact that he hasn't dug his way out of the ground yet.
Well, that's reanimation. Reincarnation means you get a new body, right?
No. What's really funny is the fact that he gets a new body, but his new body is also in the place where his old body died.
So his body transforms, or like...
No, it's more like stacked.
So if he's stuck in the ground while he's dead, and he just transforms and a new body's there, wouldn't that mean the old...
In the coffin.
Not just in the coffin, but the old skin and bones would be inside of his body.
No, it's literally like if you were to be in a coffin lying on top of the dead body.
Do coffins have enough room for that these days?
They tend to have, pretty cushy interior.
I guess so.
So yeah, he's buried on top of himself on the moon Titan, so...
Right.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
It's a way of getting back, since I'm pretty sure... Where's Titan again? Fuck.
It's one of the moons of, I think, Jupiter or some shit.
Does it even have air on it? Because if it doesn't, this dude's just gonna die and stack on top of himself until he gets back.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fucking funny.
I think that many bodies unmasked will just get sucked into Jupiter. He's not coming back, Jim.
Saturn.
Saturn. That's even farther away.
His bodies are just gonna replace Saturn.
Just expand outward in an infinite loop until the entire universe is filled with random dead bodies.
It's gonna consume the entire fucking solar system. Fucking hilarious.
I'm gonna have to find a way to get him back before he does that.
I mean, I could. I don't want to.
And thus, the universe ended. Because I didn't want to. Whoa.
This timeline's been funny, y'all. Catch you in the next one. Shit.
Anyways,
but as you could probably guess, the origin of Laughing Jack is, of course, the origin story of that clown that tortures people to death. So now,
so we're not going to see a clown in this, or is he going to be a clown when it starts?
Well, he's going to be a clown when it starts.
Oh man,
but
I wanted to see Laughing Jack as a kid.
Now, as any of you who understand a thing about horror might know, the time that when it works best, it's when you know the least about why shit's happening. The shit that made Michael Myers scary, at least in the first two films, is the fact that there was no reason behind it. None that could be known. It was just this imposing shape, murdering the fuck out of people. But, of course, as Rob Zombie has shown you, that can always just be ruined. So,
let's ruin Laughing Jack.
Let's get this shit started. It's Christmas. Fuck.
So does that mean we're gonna have Christmas clowns?
Christmas clowns.
Christmas clowns.
Oh! Actually, if memory serves,
balloon animal of a reindeer.
If memory serves, Insane Clown Posse did do a Christmas album.
Well, they're juggalos, not clowns.
Juggalos are clowns. That's the whole thing.
I don't know, man.
They're
I think I might
clowns.
actually need to...
Their whole gimmick is that they're clowns that kill people.
So you're telling me they're like an illegal gang?
Oh, the band. It's not like the actual juggalos kill people. It's that
Exactly!
the characters of Shaggy 2 Dope and Violet J kill people.
That's exactly it. It's just
They're still
it's not
clowns.
real murder. They're still.
They're still fucking clowns.
Do they do tricks? Do they make balloon animals?
I mean, they could make some out of your intestines. Within the context of the song.
Alright then.
I don't think you're understanding
Let's
the
go
whole
find
thing.
a juggalo Twitter, or go find some actual juggalos, and ask them if they consider themselves clowns.
They would. They would
sure?
consider themselves clowns. What the fuck? Look at hell. It's Christmas Eve in snowy 1800s London, England. And in a small house at the edge of town, there lived a lonely 7-year-old boy named Isaac. Isaac was a loser. Isaac was a sad child, not a friend to his name. Red Loser. While most children were spending time with their families and eagerly looking forward to opening the presents that were placed with care beneath a beautifully decorated Christmas tree. Were Christmas trees really a thing in the 1800s? Or at least in the same context they are today?
I'd love to bounce off of that, but I'm still stuck on juggalos calling themselves
They are clowns! I've known juggalos. They consider themselves clowns.
I'm very upset by this notion.
How? Yeah.
How?
What the fuck? How
Because
is this something you're getting hung up
why
on?
do they call juggalos if they're clowns?
Because it's a specific sect of clowns based around a shitty horrorcore band. Or rap group. Fuck.
But do clowns consider juggalos clowns?
I'm pretty sure most clowns also take issue with it. What's your point?
If I go to clown school and I say I want to be a juggalo, are they gonna kick me out?
Probably.
Exactly!
Because
They're
you'd
not
be
real
a really
clowns!
shitty clown.
Juggalos are just fans of a music group!
Just
They're
like
not
if you
real
went to
clowns.
clown college and said, hey, I want to hide out in sewers and eat children, they'd kick you out.
There's a big difference between a fucking character and a fandom!
Phantoms of a couple of clown characters.
Yeah! If I like clowns,
Why
does
are
that
you
make me a
being
clown?
so-
I don't fucking think so!
If you go around dressing as a clown, yes.
Do they go around dressing as clowns, or do they just wear the fucking makeup part?
Makeup part is the clown part.
No! The outfit also is what makes a clown a clown!
Well,
There's
they're
such a thing as
typically
clown
pretty
shoes! Because they're clowns! Juggalos don't wear clown shoes!
garishly colored. What the fuck is wrong with you?
There's nothing fucking wrong with me.
Apparently there is. The whole thing is like fucking Gamzee and the other Purple Bloods were based on juggalos and they're an entire racial cast of clowns.
But that's the thing, there's no real clowns in that group of juggalos. They're a distinct and separate thing!
They're literally styling themselves off the white clown.
Yeah, they're just taking one part of a clown and adding to that outfit. They are not fucking dressing as real clowns, they're not doing jokes like real clowns, and they're not creeping me the fuck out like real clowns, okay?
I forgot clowns are a legitimate culture. They're just appropriating.
Clown is a job. Juggalo is a fandom/lifestyle thing. I know I don't know enough about juggalos, but I know enough
Evidently
about clowns.
not.
And clowns are not juggalos.
Clowns are not juggalos, but juggalos are clowns.
No.
It's a rectangle square situation.
You know what? I'll agree to that answer, okay? I'll take that.
All juggalos are clowns, but not all clowns are juggalos.
Fine. Let's get back to what are we reading. We gotta start over.
All hail the Lecher bitch. There. We've started over.
Did you finish, or what was the thing you were talking about that I completely missed off because I was super offended?
I was questioning whether or not Christmas trees were as, widespread a thing in the 1800s. Especially among the poor.
Oh, probably not.
It seems like it'd be a pretty fucking bougie thing back then.
Yeah. When did Christmas trees become...
Because I know the Christmas tree thing does date back to the whole old pagan winter solstice thing of bringing greenery inside the house, but...
The first Christmas trees came to Britain sometime in the 1830s. They became very popular in the 1840s when Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's German husband, had a Christmas tree set up in Windsor Castle in 1840.
Yeah, they were a German thing. They weren't an English thing.
Yes, but they came to England in the 1830s. So they've been around since the 1800s.
Yes, but being as it just says 1800s, I'm going to assume that this is like the naughties of the 19th century.
Maybe they're just fucking hipsters.
So they're like 30 years off.
Well, I don't have any clever comment. I'm sorry.
I've noticed.
Maybe it's just that. Well, fuck you. Why you gotta? This episode has just been so toxic. We're not even
Dude, I do nothing but shit talk. You should know this by now.
I know, and it's just getting really tiresome. Much like the fact that this person has a tree and they're poor. Am I right?
I'm sorry. I expect my origin stories for killer clowns that aren't from outer space to be historically accurate.
Were clowns even around in the 1800s?
Yeah, clowning dates back quite a ways. I mean, the whole thing is that the modern interpretation of the clown is actually a derivation of the foil of the original, type of clown, because there was the red clown and the white clown, and one of them was supposed to be more foolish than the other.
The most ancient clowns have been found in the 5th dynasty of Egypt around 24,000 BC.
Yeah, makes sense. It means we also get spaghetti from Egypt, and bowling, and the 20-sided die.
Spaghetti's what I'm surprised about.
Not bowling? Not bowling.
Bowling's just simple. Just set up some pins in a bowl and look. I picture, now that you mentioned that, all I can picture of original bowling is just a couple of sticks standing up or some other kind of thing, and then people just granny bowling because they weren't smart enough to put holes in it yet.
What I'm imagining, since it's Egypt, is like the jars that they put like the pharaoh's organs in when they mummified him.
Oh, so it's like you got a bowl to break, not bowl to knock over.
Oh god, it's just a whole bunch of like priceless vases.
Have any of you seen the pharaoh's crematory jar?
Anyone seen the pharaoh's liver?
You hear a crash in the background? Ah, there it is. You're all getting executed. or sent into slavery, or whatever they did in Egypt. I don't fucking know.
Alright, let's see. While most children were spending time with their families and eagerly looking forward to opening the presents that were decorated with care beneath a beautifully decorated Christmas tree, little Isaac spent this most holy of nights. Yes, because as we all know, Christmas is actually a holy holiday. Totally. Yep. In his cold, dusty attic room. Isaac's parents were very poor. His mother was a strict crow of a woman. Unfortunately, not Snuggly the crow.
That did I mention was poor?
Who stayed at home and schooled Isaac because, again, 1800s. His father worked long hours down at the London Harbour to support his family, although a large portion of his earnings went towards purchasing and consuming copious amounts of alcohol at the end of his shift. As you do. Sometimes he would come home drunk after being thrown out of every bar in London.
Wait.
Okay, London's a big fucking city.
Yeah, and isn't there like just a bunch of bars all over the UK, if I recall?
Yes.
So how do you get thrown out of every? He has to go out of the city to drink now. This dude just gets lost on the way home.
Fucking nonce went to every single pub in London and got his ass thrown out.
That's like
How
a
the
challenge.
fuck you accomplished that? And shouted at his beloved wife.
He didn't beat her or anything. He just screamed really loudly at her.
Also, I think if it's that case, it's not beloved. She's not his beloved anymore.
No, he's just screeching at her like a bat.
Oh, God.
Just, honey, I'm... And that's all he does all night.
Stuff in registers, which only dogs and film brain can hear.
Exactly. Oh, the dog. That's what it is. He's making everyone's dogs bark in London, and that's why he gets kicked out of all the bars, because he's constantly screeching at a high octave level.
Shouted his beloved wife, Isaac's mother. Gee,
This is actually just a story about a kid trying to convince himself that he's actually related to his parents. Yes, this is indeed my mother. It's my mother. It's his. They're married. They're my parents. It's his wife.
Oh God, it's Stockholm syndrome. The kid was actually kidnapped.
Occasionally, it would escalate to violence, and he would beat her savagely while still screeching. Then, when he was done, he'd force himself upon her in a drunken sexual rage.
Because of course he did. Way to be manipulative, author.
As it so happens, this particular night was one of those occasions. Isaac just remained quiet, quivering beneath his soiled bedsheets until the scream. He's still screeching.
I don't think it's his screams.
Till the scream.
But it is funnier if we imagine it that way.
Come on. Let me just have this man. And loud occasions. Isaac just fuck!
Loud bangs subsided. And loud occasions.
Once, poor frightened Isaac was finally able to fall asleep, he dreamed of what it would be like to have a family to play with.
Friend.
Remember, he's got Stockholm syndrome. This isn't his real parents. He just wants a family. So maybe he could laugh and be happy like the other children of London. Luckily, little Isaac, this Christmas Eve marked a big change, when his abysmal loneliness caught the attention of a guardian angel, who then crafted a very special gift for the sad little London boy. It's a knife. Kill them.
Stitch crash. I'm just imagining like you've seen Lilo and Stitch, right?
God, no, we're not.
Please send down your best angel. Stitch crashes down screaming.
Oh, no. God, no, please. Anything but that.
Dude, I love that movie.
I love it too, but like, why?
Because that's a hilarious scene.
I could just picture like the ship crashes down in front of their house, and the father just starts screeching again.
Stitch throws him.
He goes into the house to shut it up because he can actually hear it.
Like, that's the whole thing with Stitch, is the motherfucker can throw a truck.
You, sir, are very annoying. Wait, the father starts using him to throw him out of town to get to the pubs he can actually go to.
Throws him through a pub window.
Oh. Just like, oh, back again, mate. You're gonna have to pay for that window.
I told you were blacklisted from it.
Well, you came through the window.
Get the fuck out.
He comes in and throws him out of the bar.
He's just like crumpled on the floor, like several bones broken.
You can't even do a full screech now. It's just coughs and gurgles.
Told you to get the fuck out, man.
Nobody cares if this dude's half dead and like his knee bone sticking out.
Just blood just dripping from his mouth.
Oh, this is getting dark.
Oh, fuck. As the sun rose on that Christmas morning, Isaac opened his eyes to find a strange wooden box sitting at the foot of his bed. It was the lament configuration. He was going to summon Pinhead. His eyes widened with awe He stared at the colorful handcrafted box, wondering who had left it.
Pinhead. I thought a Pinhead
Cenobites.
from SpongeBob.
No. Like, are you familiar with Hellraiser?
I think you know the answer to that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
There are many unfortunates.
Alright, let me find a picture
I
of
already
him.
looked it up. I see many nails in this dude's face. Oh, and he's holding a box. Yep. Okay, now I get it.
The lament configuration. Used to summon the Cenobites, who will then torture you to death.
So it's kind of like a Pandora.
God damn it!
You okay?
A box that summons a thing that tortures people?
Pandora's box.
Okay, origin story for a creepypasta character that tortures people that has him originally coming from a box.
There's one like that? Uh-oh.
That's what's happening here.
So you're saying...
I'm saying this is a ripoff of Hellraiser.
Laughing Jack's just Hellraiser.
Laughing Jack's a Cenobite.
No.
Just a really shitty one, too, because it's not like his body's all ripped to pieces or any shit like that. It's not like he has his throat torn open and, like, wires going through his face or any shit.
Yeah, just a
fuck, even
clown.
CD Face is a better Cenobite than fuck, not Pin. even CD Face is a better Cenobite than Laughing Jack.
Well, I mean, the bar's not really hard to cross on this one, is it?
No, yeah, it doesn't take much to be a better Cenobite than Laughing Jack. I mean, he goes after people who aren't really doing anything to merit it. I mean, the Cenobites, their whole thing is that they need to bring balance. So if anyone's being too evil or too good, they can get summoned to just slaughter them.
So you've got to stay in that moral gray? That sucks.
You have to make sure not to tip the scales. If you make it to where there's too much good or too much evil in the world...
So do they get the box and it's just like you have to be retarded to open the box?
Well, most people don't know what the box is. They're just like, oh, hey, a puzzle box. Solve. And there's even a situation in which someone knew what it was, and they gave it to this one person to solve it, but the Cenobites ended up going after the person who initially found the box, not the person who solved it, because they knew that the person who it was given to was blameless in that situation.
Kind of like a fuck you. Nice try, asshole.
We will tear your soul apart. With eyes widened in awe, wondering who... he was not used to receiving gifts, especially toys. What little...
Because he's fucking poor.
Yeah, basically. What little toys Isaac did have were the ones he'd found abandoned in the streets or washed up in the gutters, given to him by yet another clown, which was a bit unusual, coming due to the fact that it was in London and not in Derry, Maine, as it should have been. Isaac scooted up to the foot of the bed in front of the mysterious box and picked it up with both hands. The box was beautifully painted in colorful styles, with carvings of happy clown faces on the side. There was a tag on the box that simply read, "For Isaac." On the top of the box was an engraved text.
What if he just sold it? I know I'm like actually getting to like dangerously or maybe already past the point where this might be considered kind of like I'm trying to make fun of poor people, but...
What's the whole thing is like you end up with this beautiful thing. It's like, fuck, this doesn't help me. I'm fucking poor. I'll sell this shit.
Exactly.
I don't need like a fucking like priceless like vase or some shit when I'm poor.
He could buy like a week's worth of food with that, maybe.
It's like the whole thing of like, why the fuck would you gift a homeless person a priceless Ming vase? The fuck are they gonna do with that shit?
Sell it!
And that's the only thing they could do. And if you could afford a priceless Ming vase to give to a homeless person, why not just give the homeless person the money it would take to buy that?
I don't know. I was trying to go off of something with this to like talk about how like you said like if the person gave the box to him to like solve for him. But what if you just sold the box? Would they still come after you if somebody else opened it? Because
Oh god. I'm your friend and your friend alone.
all right.
Well, at least he still got the money.
the Cinnabite's just like killing him, and he's in the middle of like a. The Cinnabite just appears, and he's in like a fancy restaurant eating a fancy meal.
Pinhead just appears in the restaurant.
Can I finish this, please?
Can I finish eating? I was in the middle. Take your time.
He just sits down and orders his own meal too, and he like can't even eat properly because his like mouth is like halfway broken or like just sewn together. Ugh.
Oh, a different Cinnabite?
Just yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Actually, there is, if memory serves, there is a Pinhead Cinnabite. I mean, not a, no, shit. There is, of course, the Pinhead Cinnabite, but there is one that, like, kind of looks like the whole Pinhead Larry thing you were joking about.
Oh, God.
What is it? Is it Conehead?
Coneheads, yeah.
Well, no, those aren't Cinnabites.
But you mean they look like Coneheads from...
Yeah, there is one like that.
Conehead Cenobite.
Because it was in the comics.
Cenobite comic characters. Cenobite members are comic. Abigor, Alistair. There's this one dude who's just got a bunch of like shit in his face.
That doesn't really help me. Yeah, Butterball. He's from the movies.
All right.
Because his whole thing is that he's just a really fat Cenobite.
Yeah. Wait,
Alistair.
You mean the Chatterer or?
I wasn't thinking Chatterer. Anything's better than Atkins, though. I'll say that. Because Atkins is just fucking shit tier.
He looks like he plays Doom.
Yeah, the whole thing is that he's... Like, the way he became a Cenobite isn't too bad, because the whole thing is that he ended up... he was in Nam, and he ended up, like, going through this one underground maze and ended up solving it, and that turned out that that was technically a Cenobite puzzle.
Wait, so... If you solve the puzzles and they kill you, you become a Cenobite?
Not usual. Usually you just get, like, basically disemboweled alive.
But other times you become a Cenobite?
Yeah, sometimes you become a Cenobite. It's a whole thing of, like, they have to have use of you. Jack the Ripper was a Cenobite? Known as Saucy Jack.
He was a serial killer, right?
Yeah, he was an actual
serial killer. I could just picture him just dropping a box on the ground with, like, literally, like, no puzzle to it. You just open it, and it's just like, yeah, time to kill you!
Oh, God.
Like, he's just using it as
but only if you're a prostitute.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got it. The people who paid for the prostitutes paid with the box instead of the money was in the box, but it was actually just the Cenobite puzzle.
Okay, I was trying to figure out, like, a joke, and I ended up, like, almost immediately saying Jack in a Box. Whoops.
Well, I mean...
Because there was a Christmas special comic in which there was this one in which he just had, like, this cone head.
Nice.
Also, Flagellum. Jesus Christ, that is creepy looking.
Yeah.
Chatterer. Chinard. But yeah, CD's just shit tier, because literally all he is he's just like a dude with CDs in his, like, embedded in his head.
Not even something fun like razor blades? Yeah. Isaac squinted his eyes as he sounded out the words, laughing Jack in a box.
That sounds less like he's sounding them out, like, even the way it's typed, less like he's sounding it out and more like he just has a bad stutter.
Or he's scared.
Laughing Jack? Box?
It's the 1800s. He's probably not educated because he's poor.
His mother's just like a really bad teacher.
He paused. Laughing Jack in the Box? Isaac had heard of a Jack in the Box, but never a laughing Jack in the Box.
I mean, most of them seem to laugh whenever they pop out, little bastards.
Ugh. His mind spun with curiosity as he grasped the box's metal crank. Isaac turned the crank and the song Pop Goes the Weasel chimed in rhythm with the crank gyrations. As the song came to its climax,
Oh my.
Isaac sang along with the final verse. Pop goes. How does he know?
And that's shit. How far back does Pop Go the Weasel date?
You look that up. I'm gonna look up how long Jack in the Box have been around.
We're just like analyzing this shit.
Well, yeah, it's the 1800s. I want to know.
Because I think Pop Goes the Weasel might goes back to the 18th century, so it would have been the century before the one that this takes place.
Really?
Though the first written version was it wasn't published until the 1850s, but it dates back to the century before.
All right. A theory as to the origin of the Jack in the Box is that it comes from the 14th century English prelate Sir Johnson Thorne, who's often pictured holding a boot with a devil in it. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Anyways, where were we?
He sang the line.
He sang Pop Goes the Weasel, but nothing happened. Isaac let out a sigh. It's broken.
Even Leviathan can't give me a good gift.
He placed the box back down on the edge of the bed, shuffled across the small dusty room to his dresser where he's changed out of his soiled sleepwear and into his usual tattered clothes, which are also soiled because he's poor.
Suddenly Isaac heard a loud rattling noise coming from the bed behind him. He spun around to witness the wooden box violently shaking. Then, without warning, the top of the box swung open and a parade of colorful smoke and confetti bellowed out. Isaac rubbed his eyes in disbelief of what he was seeing. As the smoke cleared, there stood a tall, thin, multicolored clown man, with bright red hair, a swirly, rainbow-colored cone nose, and feathery shoulders that sat atop his raggedy and colorful clown outfit.
Oh boy.
Call the police!
The Technicolor clown, who probably confused him because I'm pretty sure Technicolor was a bit more of a recent thing.
I don't think the child would have known the word Technicolor, but fuck it, it's a good enough word.
Yeah. Clown spread his arms and excitedly announced, "Come one, come all, whether big or small, to see the best clown of them all, the one, the only, laughing Jack in a Box!"
I'll give him this, he's a good showing.
Was he always in a Jack in the Box, though? Is that his thing?
I guess that's just where he came from.
He came from a box and hasn't got back in.
He's boxed from the gods. Isaac's eyes lit up. Who are you? He asked. He just said
bitch! The colorful carny stepped down off the bed and with a happy grin said, "I'm glad you asked! I am Laughing Jack, your new friend!
For life.
I'm magical! I never get tired of playing. I'm a whiz at the accordion, and I adapt and develop with your own changing personality." Oh boy, that's a lot of work. In other words, whatever you like, I like.
Boy, it's not like that statement earlier is gonna bite them in the ass.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Isaac looked up at the mysterious clown man. We're friends? He stuttered.
My mom told me not to be friends with strangers.
Oh, strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. Granted, the person who told me that is now in prison, is now in maximum security lockup in Australia, but
guess you can't flee the law for too long.
Yeah, I really shouldn't have come into his van.
I'll have to show you something later.
Ah! I hope it's not a van. I learned wise to wait until after they give you the candy. Wait.
Go ahead, just as long as you eat the candy while still in the proximity of the van. You can rest inside it if you get tired.
Mister, I don't feel too good. Was there something in this candy?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't know date rape drugs, though, so I can't say anything. I don't know what...
Rohypnol?
Yeah, Rohypnol.
God damn it.
There's Rohypnol in it.
Rufinol, not Rohypnol. What the fuck?
Darn, I wish it was Rydnol, because I was about to say it because I'm about to be riding you all night.
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, Jack looked at the boy, cocking an eyebrow. Friends? We're
Best.
friends. I was specifically created to be your not-so-imaginary friend, Isaac.
Why
Great.
did you say best with the like you wanted to fuck me? You know why. Jeez. Like we've said before, apparently the only voice you can do is horny.
Well,
But,
I guess
like-
I can add horny clown to my forte.
But stalker horny, not like regular horny.
Clowns can be stalkers.
I can't wait to be elbow deep inside you. Who are you?
Just close the window real quick from where
What are you doing in the tree?
Nothing.
Inside.
He's in the Christmas tree.
Isaac's jaw dropped. You know my name?
Jack let out a whimsical laugh. Ha ha ha! Of course I know your name. I know
Everything.
about you. So now that the introductions are out of the way, how would you like to play a game of I Spy?
That sounds kind of boring.
Shut the fuck up, Jack. Or Isaac, whatever the fuck this kid's
Did
name
you
is.
say Shrek?
I said Jack.
Okay. Shut the fuck up, Shrek.
Somebody once told me
The world was gonna roll me.
I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed.
She was looking kinda dumb with a finger and a thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Anyway,
Every time I sing, I yawn. It's a
Isaac grinned from ear to ear. Really? We could play games? I'd love to. Oh.
He paused. I can't. I have to go downstairs and see Mother for homeschooling. His smile faded into a look of disappointment. Guess it's time to kill your parents!
I mean, frankly, it would probably be for the best just to kill his dad.
Yeah, that guy needs to stop screaming.
The only thing we know bad about his mom is that she's strict. Which, compared to violent rapist,
And a dude who could somehow get kicked out of every fucking pub in London.
I think the rape thing might be worse than his horrible bar manners.
Yeah, but it's like his home life and his, like, public life are both fucky. This man's all the bad.
Not only is he the
Maybe
world's
I'm
worst
just an
drinking
alcoholic.
buddy, but he won't stop raping people. Jesus Christ. Fuck. Okay, need to stop with these jokes.
Yeah.
Jack placed his hand on Isaac's shoulder, bad touch, and with a warm smile said, "It's okay. I'll be waiting right here for you when you get back." Isaac's smile returned as he looked up at his new friend. Fun. Just then he heard his mother's shrill voice calling him from downstairs. Again, it's the fact
both
that
his parents have screechy voices.
it's the fact that they're like also going out of their way to paint the mother in a bad light,
So that you feel no remorse when she kills you for actually trying to educate her.
so that you feel nothing. Like it's so like they're painting her as a bad person, but also throwing in the fact that apparently she's getting raped on the reg.
Yeah, like this woman's
So
got
it's
a
one
lot
of
of
the-
stress.
It's one of those things where it's like, like this woman's going through a lot of shit. Stop trying to make her out to be a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. It's the 1800s. She tries to get divorced, she'll get killed.
I forgot about that. I just thought you couldn't get canned, but I didn't know they murdered you for trying to get a divorce.
Her husband probably would.
That makes more sense, yeah.
It's the whole thing is like before divorce, one thing in the US that's a pretty telling statistic. Before divorce became more widespread in the US, like more normalized in the US. No, after it became more normalized in the US, the suicide rate for stay at home for like married women dropped once it became more widespread.
That makes
Because they had a easier way to get out of that situation.
really glad that shit gets better over time.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
this.
And then you have people bitching about the fact that divorce is so widespread, and it's like, if
Good.
it wasn't,
People would be killing themselves.
people would be locked in unhealthy and abusive relationships by more than just their abusive spouse, but also by the legal system.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, sometimes divorce is good, but I still think it needs to have some work on it because somebody in my family divorced and their
Well, it's the whole thing. Is
significant
like,
other stole all the money.
well, there's a difference between someone who divorces you for the sake of taking your money, which is going to be a
No,
very
they've been
rare
married
case.
for like 30 plus years.
Like, there's a difference between that and like, because if you end up realizing like you're just not right for each other, I think that's perfectly valid reason for divorce.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's just don't be a dick when you do it.
Yeah, and it's also a whole thing of like, if someone's being abusive, get the fuck out of there.
It's just ugh. There's a lot of ways people get trapped in society.
Yeah.
It's really ugh.
And then, of course, you also have the whole thing of, like, because of how society view things, if you had to get a divorce, then suddenly you're the one in the wrong. It's like, fuck you.
Yeah. It's better. I don't know enough about this subject to really talk about it, I feel.
I don't know what that says about me, that apparently I know enough about these subjects to start speaking on the matter.
No, it's just more I've said all I can. If I say more, I'm putting my foot in my mouth.
Well, you see, kids, today we're going to be talking about abuse. I know far too much about this.
We've talked about the origins of Jack-in-the-Boxes, clowns. We've had a really strong debate about juggalos. We're talking about divorce. We're talking about a fucking clown in a creepypasta. Where did this all come from?
Well, if it weren't for the fact that this story brought up rape and domestic abuse, with all of the fucking skill of a bull operating a train in a china shop.
Ooh. Can we just get to the part where they all get murdered? We know it's coming.
It's your line.
Jack smiled, right?
Well.
No. What?
Well, I gotta go.
Well, I gotta go. I'll see you after I'm done. Okay, Jack? He says he headed toward.
Jack smiled. Absolutely, kiddo. Oh, and Isaac?
Isaac looked back at Jack, who gave him a wink and said, "You should wear." I already forgot the voice. You should wear that smile more often. It's
suits you. Bad touch. Bad touch.
It really suits you.
You shouldn't be telling fucking, like, other adults that they need to smile more often. Shit's creepy. It's like,
Really?
oh, you'd look better if you smiled. Fuck you!
I think that's what people say when people are frowning, though.
Yeah, that's the whole thing of, shit, I guess you have had to deal with that whole situation because cis male.
Okay, now I'm kind of interested. What do you mean?
You've never had the whole situation in which, like, some dude's, like, catcalling some woman and she, like, tells him off for it and he ends up playing the victim because she is not dealing with that shit right now?
Oh, that's where you're going with this. I always picture this. I kind of constitute this line with, like, whole, like, chin up kiddo kind of thing. Said, like, come on, you look better when you're happy. Just because sad kids are sad and not fun.
I don't know. My immediate thought when I hear, like, the whole "you should smile more" thing is, like, that fucking, like, dude on the street, like, thinking he's paying a compliment.
That actually, if two adults say that to each other, now I'm starting to see where the problem is coming in, yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is like, well, fuck you, I'm not gonna fucking smile now. Your bitch ass has ruined my day.
Well, then are you just not supposed to compliment people, or is it just supposed to not be like,
there's a difference
you look better when you do something kind of thing?
There's a difference between a legitimate compliment and a quote-unquote compliment done that is in a way that is inherently sexual.
Oh, you mean like how whenever I make a compliment, I just say thank
Like, there's a difference between someone saying, "Oh, hey, that outfit looks good today," and like,
Only today? The fuck?
like, there is like a difference, like between
There's
that
a
sort of
difference
shit.
between the man saying "I like your shirt" and it's just an open V-neck with a bunch of cleavage standing out. Is that what you're trying to get at? Shit like that?
Fuck it. It'd be one of those things where if we actually were to like look up examples, I could explain this easier rather than us like completely apart from each other, only having voice to go off of. But
You
like,
wanna
there's a
move on?
difference between saying, "Oh, hey, like, nice outfit," and "Hey, you look fine today," or like, "You're looking absolutely fine," like shit like that. Like
Context, pitch, and how they
context, pitch, and content.
and delivery. That's
it.
what I was gonna say. So
Yeah.
content, pitch, delivery,
Well,
really.
I guess not pitch. I guess technically delivery would go into pitch.
Yeah, because it's just like
You look nice today.
it's a lot more concerning than "Hey, you look nice today."
Yeah. Like, hey, look good.
This has been your lesson in how to
This has been your lesson. Don't be a fucking creep about it. If you see some random woman on the street, maybe you shouldn't whistle after her and compliment her ass.
You know what I want to do? I want
Not
to
that.
catcall someone.
Oh
But
God,
they-
why?
Like, just do the whistle. But then, like, you look like you know how to, like, if they look like they're dressed in a business outfit, just try to say something like, you know how to file papers really well. Or something a lot more complimentive than just filing papers.
Well, I could see that if it's someone you know.
Yeah.
Like, if someone you know, like, if... like, if you know, like, some lady who's a lawyer or some shit. It's like... Hey, make sure to keep that guy out of jail.
Hey, baby, you look like you could really win a case.
But that's also a thing of, like, you have to know the person.
Yeah, because then it just sounds fucking weird.
You look like you know your way around a courtroom.
I'm not a lawyer.
Shit. That's the whole thing. Like, you probably have to know them.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck. Isaac grinned happily as he turned and walked out of the door.
Ah, there we are. Jack smiled. Oh, no. Fuck.
No.
There's
All
two
day.
doors. Fuck.
All day.
All day, every day, every day. All day, Isaac told his mother about the amazing, colorful clown man who watched that appeared at the foot of his bed. His mother, however, did not believe a word of it.
Gee!
Finally, he persuaded his mother to follow him up the room so he could behold Laughing Jack herself. They walked to the stairs and Isaac swung the door open to his room.
See your mother? He's right. Huh? Isaac paused as he scanned the room that contained neither a magical dancing clown man nor a mysterious wooden box. Isaac's mother was not amused. She gave Isaac a glare so menacing it made his knees weak and his stomach sick.
Mostly because she had to send her son to the crazy house now.
Knees weak, arms heavy, there's vomit on his sweater already, Mom spaghetti.
No box in sight. I'm not good at rhymes. Never
Nah,
mind.
I was
Roasted
literally just
spaghetti.
quoting Eminem.
I know. I wanted to try to be clever and twist that with a clown involved, but nope.
I think that one's 8 Mile.
I think I shouldn't sing or do lyrics ever again. Let's see.
but mother.
But Mom, he was smack.
Also,
Isaac's-
it's an English child. Wouldn't he be saying mum?
But Mum, he was smack. Isaac's mother delivered onto him a swift and hard smack across the face. Why?
She's keeping her pimp hand strong.
His eyes began to tear up and his lips began to quiver as he could feel himself about to break it down. Lucio.
I'm one step closer to the edge and I'm about to break. Oh boy. You stupid, insolent child! How dare you lie to me about such childish idiocy? Who would want to be friends with a useless worm such as you? You shall remain in your room for the rest of the evening and shall receive no dinner. Now what do you have to say, you ungrateful wench? Why did she suddenly turn Scottish?
I mean, there's probably a few Scots in London.
Well, yes, I'm just trying to figure out why she suddenly started turning Scottish when I was voicing her.
I hope I didn't get this wrong, but are a lot of those nanny? No, not at all. I don't fucking know, man. Maybe it's just you tried to go for Wicked Witch, but it came out Scottish.
I think it's when I started rolling the R's.
That's probably it too, yeah.
Rasta!
Ugh, I wish I could roll my R's. All it comes out is
I can't do it with Spanish words, and it pisses me the fuck off.
only Scottish sounding accents and stuff.
Like, I can't do, like, yeah, fuck.
Or whatever.
Burro. Like, it just ends up like my tongue feels like it suddenly got weighed down in, like, a fucking gallon of phlegm.
Well, this is why you're not a voice actor.
This is why I need to do a demo reel.
That might fix it, yeah.
Anyway, your line.
Fuck.
Isaac. Managed.
Isaac managed? Yeah.
Yes.
Isaac managed to swallow the knot in his throat to... Sorry, this mom makes me sick.
This
Mother had
story
to
makes me
reply.
sick.
Thank you, ma'am. His mother glared down at him for a moment before leaving the room in disgust.
Well, this kid's gotta be fucked up. He gets bitch slapped and is expected to say thank you.
Yeah, that's some fucked up shit right there, man.
Isaac, yeah. Isaac kneeled over, burying his face in the side of his bed. Streams of tears ran down his cheeks, and he began to weep. "What's wrong, kiddo?" a voice called out. Isaac looked over to the edge of the bed, where Laughing Jack was suddenly sitting beside him.
Jack, what the fuck? Where were you? Isaac murmured.
Jack ran his hand through Isaac's hair to comfort him as he softly replied, "Bad touch! I was hiding. I can't let your parents see me. Otherwise, they won't let us play anymore." Bad touch!
Yeah. Real
Isaac
creepy.
wiped the tears from his eyes.
Look, kiddo, I'm sorry I had to hide, but I'll make it up to you because tonight we can play games and have tons of fun.
Bad touch!
Jack said, smiling.
Just finding it funny how you're like circus performer and I'm going Pennywise.
I'm circus performer gone creepy stalker.
So your usual voice. The creepy stalker part.
I was about to say, I don't always sound like a creepy stalker.
Isaac looked up at his vibrant pal and silently nodded, as a little smile began to form in the corners of his mouth. That night, Laughing Jack and Isaac played so many fun games. With a wave of his hand, Jack made all of Isaac's tin soldiers spring to life and march around the room. Isaac was amazed as he watched his toys move around the room on their own. Then Laughing Jack and Isaac told each other spooky ghost stories. Kinda seems like a step down. Isaac asked Jack if he was a ghost, but Jack explained that he was more of a cosmic entity of sorts.
I'm just picturing that this is actually just some old high man inside his...
Okay, you cut out for most of that. An old what?
Hold. I'm going through it. Is it better now?
I don't know, you just said like the one line.
What do you mean one line?
Okay, now I think we should be good.
Okay, I was saying, I'm just picturing this as some like crazy old like drugged up dude inside their house giving his kid shrooms.
Who somehow popped out of a box.
He gave the kid the shrooms beforehand.
Oh god. But yeah, so I guess apparently Laughing Jack's an elder god. Good to know.
Wait, hold on though. Jack talked about meeting a clown before, right?
He didn't say anything about meeting a clown. He said that he was a cosmic entity.
No, way before that, when he talked about how he never got gifts or something. Didn't he mention
No,
a different clown?
Isaac never said anything about meeting a clown.
Really? I could have sworn.
Not that I
Never
know.
mind. There goes my theory about it being some motherfucker.
At the end of the night, Jack reached into his pocket and pulled out an assortment of delicious candy. Bad touch. Isaac was in ecstasy as he popped the first colorful treat into his mouth, which ironically was laced with ecstasy, as it was his first time tasting something so sweet. Just imagining, because, fuck, I know, like, in Japan, they have, like, the seaweed-flavored candies. Tasting something so sweet, but it's salty.
Like sea salt ice cream.
You have to try that.
I want to try that too.
Isaac had so much fun and laughed so hard that night that things seemed to be finally looking up for little Isaac. At least
He's
until
also
the
kinda
incident that occurred 3 months later.
Damn it. I was gonna say, everything was going out great until he got really hungry. That's when Jack told him that he had the munchies. Anyways.
Oh, I thought you were going to say until the clown got really hungry and then ate Isaac.
So much for little Isaac. It was pleasantly warm and sunny in London that day, which was a bit of a rarity. So with the help of a certain not so imaginary friend, Isaac was able to finish his chores early and was allowed to go outside and play for a bit before the fucking clown made it rain. Things started simply enough. The duo were back behind the house playing pirates when Isaac spotted the neighbor's cat sneaking into their garden.
Yar! We got an enemy spy off the starboard bow! Isaac yelled, captivated by fantasy and imagination.
Target spotted. Take him down.
Just the bullet holes fill the cat.
Guess gets hit by like a surface to air, like a fucking like ballistic missile.
The entire neighborhood's house, like their neighbor's house is just gone. Yo-ho! I'll get up, Captain Isaac! Explained First Mate Jack in the best...
Exclaimed, not explained.
Mansplained First Mate Jack in his best hearty pirate accent.
And Hero was starting to like Jack.
Laughing Jack's arm stretched out across the garden and snatched the unsuspecting feline who began to struggle quite vigorously.
Don't let him get away, Jackie, or I'll make ye walk the plank, Isaac antagonized.
Jack's grip on the cat tightened and his arms grew and anacondas that
extended like anacondas, you dropped out to that word.
And extended like anacondas that don't want none unless you got buns, hun.
Well, obviously.
Wrapping themselves around the wily feline as it struggled for dear life. Jack's arms kept squeezing the animal, pressing the air out of its lungs, as the once dear house's... Fuck! Hold on. As the once dear house pet's eyes began to bulge out of their eye sockets, there came a loud snap. Jack quickly released the creature from his grasp, and the lifeless furry husk thudded against the ground.
It was a tiny fursuit.
There was a hushed silence as the two observed the cat's now twisted and mangled corpse that looked a lot like a fursuit. The silence was finally broken by an uproarious laughter coming from Isaac.
Wow, I guess cats really don't have 9 lives.
This kid's
Dude, what the fuck?
Wow, now nobody in the story is redeemable.
Yep. I mean, we got a pedophile clown, a rapist father, an asshole mother, and a serial killer in the making.
Yep.
Isaac exclaimed, nearly teary-eyed from laughter.
Laughing Jack began to chuckle as well. Yeah.
But won't you get in trouble if your mother finds your neighbor's cat dead in her garden?
Isaac's laughter quickly subsided.
Also, remember that whole thing mentioned earlier about the whole thing that the clown's tastes end up changing to match Isaac's tastes?
Yeah, nice fucking job, whoever gave him this fucking box. You gave it to a serial killer.
Like they said it was like angels or whatever crafting some shit like... Oh, fuck, I'm scrolling up. Let's see.
pray
A
to them.
guardian angel.
Yeah.
A
You know what it is? The guardian angel was actually supposed to go down there themselves to help, but
They
the
were
guardian
too
angel's like,
lazy.
yeah, fuck it.
I'm not
Give him the
gonna.
magic
I'm not gonna
box and
do
just
this
give him.
myself. I'll just put a clown in a box.
Kids like clowns, right? Whatever. Who fucking cares?
Oh no, you're right. I'll just throw it back into the neighbor's yard. Isaac panicked as he grabbed a nearby shovel and scooped up the broken cat cadaver. Oh, god damn it. And now the author's irredeemable. Fucking comedic alliteration to describe a dead cat.
Did he call it a cat cadaver?
Cat cadaver.
Cadaver, okay.
Yeah. Cadaver is a synonym for dead body.
It's a fucking cat corpse.
Cat cadaver. Motherfucker used alliteration to describe a dead animal.
That's some fucked shit, dude.
That pisses me off. It's like, hey, let's make fun of this fucking.
That's gonna be my name next episode. Hi, and I'm Cat Cadaver.
Fuck. Before lobbing it over the fence back into the neighbor's yard, they quickly went back inside and up into Isaac's room.
About an hour later, it came, the ear-piercing squawk of Isaac's downstairs. Neither Jack nor Isaac said a word as he crept down the stairs alone to face whatever horrible fate was coming to him. Jack could hear much yelling from downstairs, but couldn't make out what was being said. After about 30 minutes, a teary-eyed Isaac descended the stairs back up to the room.
Well? Jack asked nervously. Jackass. Isaac just stared at the ground as he spoke. Starred. Never mind. That's not stare, that's starred. I tried to tell her it was you who hurt the cat. She didn't believe me. Said you weren't real.
Well, you know what they say. Snitches get stitches.
Also, can we talk about the fact that this child just blamed what is seen as his imaginary friend, what would be considered by anyone around to be his imaginary friend for the death of an animal?
He should be in the crazy house by now.
That's the kind of thing that makes that you'd expect to be kind of evident of possibly, like, I don't know, DID or something like that, or possibly just like the fact, or possibly just the linchpin in the idea that the child did it because, like a child, they're trying to push the blame off onto something else.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. I mean, I know as a child, but like, some dude, the fucking Laughing Jack squeezed this cat.
Yeah.
That doesn't look like something a child could do, probably. So
Well,
why is the child getting blamed? Unless you saw him scoop it over the fence.
It might have been that you saw him throw it over the fence. Also, all we have is a mangled cat corpse. I mean, technically speaking, it is possible for a child to kill a cat by a blunt force trauma.
I'm pretty sure that's happened to. That's the sad part.
Yeah. Jack frowned, knowing this was all his fault. Well, yeah, you just strangled a cat.
Yeah, nice fucking job, Jack.
Jesus Christ, that's... Like, and you know that they did that just for shock value.
Yep.
Here you go.
Isaac used his sleeve to wipe away his tears. I'm being sent off to a boarding school. I'm leaving tonight. Damn.
That was quick.
Yeah, and you can't come with me.
Laughing Jack's face turned to shock. What? I can't come? Where will I go? Isaac said nothing, but pointed at the beautiful colored box from where his friend had originated.
Back in there, but I won't be able to get out until... Jack paused.
Isaac looked up at his only friend with tears streaming down his face. Jack, I promise I'll come back for you as soon as I can. Jack looked at the box, then back at Isaac.
And I'll be right here waiting for you, kiddo. Jack smiled as a single tear ran down his cheek. He walked over to the box and with a puff of smoke was sucked back in, unable to be free until once again opened.
You know, this story has not earned a tearjerker moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more confused about why the killer crazy clown's accepting this. What's his fucking plan?
It's also a whole thing of like, why would he need to go back in the box?
Could
I
probably
mean,
just
couldn't
cook
he
the
just
box
like
out of
hide?
plastic.
Couldn't he just like squat in Isaac's room? I mean, from what we see, he doesn't need to eat.
Or maybe, just maybe, he kills them.
Like he wouldn't like. It's a whole thing. Like he just need to make sure he wasn't seen.
Which
And
he's
when you
apparently
are
very good
literally
at.
when you are literally a magic clown,
Cosmic
Because it's-
entity.
yeah, a cosmic entity crafted by an angel. I don't think that's that hard.
You could just throw some like magic dust at them and they'd forget.
I mean, you're basically kind of an elder god. I don't think it's that hard to stay hidden.
Yeah. Wow, the
Aye.
story's long and we haven't even gotten to halfway.
Jesus.
Again.
Did you say where were we?
He just got back in the box.
Oh, puff of smoke. Okay. That night, Isaac was sent off to boarding school again, pretty fucking quick.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time, Laughing Jack felt like it was like to be lonely. Even when trapped in his box, Jack was able to see things going on around it. So each day, he waited for his friend to return. And each day, the room grew older and dustier. Laughing Jack's one purpose was to be Isaac's best friend for life. Again, I don't see why he needed to go back in the box. It's a whole thing of he'd just have to make sure to be invisible or whatever anytime his parents would decide to go into the room.
He's bound to the child's logic. That's what the problem is.
And now he had to wait day after day, month after month to reunite with his special friend. Isaac's parents still lived in the house, but never came to the upstairs room. Ah!
What?
He wouldn't even need to try to hide.
You're right!
It's also a whole thing of like, I'm pretty sure he could possibly go out at night. I mean, fucking hell.
He could leave the house and just become a fucking show clown. His magic tricks would be like the killer.
He
And
could
by killer, I
perform-
mean the church would probably kill him for being a witch.
Well, what he could probably do is just become like a street performer.
Yeah. With actual magic, so they'd burn him at the stake.
Well, it's the whole thing is like some people like back in that time. Well, okay, I'm not entirely sure that witch burnings were actual witch burnings were still a thing at that time. But it's a whole thing of like he'd be the best fucking street performer in the business.
I think a lot of Elder's Beach and other magical things would be the best street performers, but they never consider thinking about it.
This clown's just a fucking idiot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a whole thing of like eventually if I were in that situation, it's the whole thing of like I probably would have asked, wait, why would I need to hide in the box? I can literally turn invisible.
Mm-hmm. He made the box disappear too. That's the thing.
But also with that whole thing, eventually in that room, I would have grown bored and decided to go outside at some point while trying to stay hidden.
Hidden in plain sight. The best kind of hidden.
Yeah, God. Like,
we're thinking too hard about this.
It's the whole thing that, like, all of this is unnecessary. That's what's got me. Okay. The only time they made their presence known was when Jack would hear them fighting. Still, Jack's life became one of solitude, loneliness, and disappointment. As years went by, Jack's once vibrant colors began to fade into a monochrome blur of pitch-black void and stark white emptiness. There you go, guys. That's why he's monochrome. Trapped all alone.
He was depressed because he was too fucking stupid to stay out of the box.
Yeah.
What if
Eternal
he just came
and
with the kid
hopeless.
to boarding school?
He
I
could
bet
have
he could've
been
done that.
invisible there. Just been like, hey, whenever we're out in public, don't actually, like, talk to me.
Yeah.
That way people don't think you're crazy.
Mm-hmm. Just imagine a clown at a boarding school.
Best
It's a
boarding school ever.
clown boarding school.
Nice.
That has to be somebody's had to have made that.
I mean, clown college is a thing, so.
No, but I mean like a straight boarding school.
Are you actually looking it up now?
And I can only find one thing.
Clown college?
World Peace Clown at Gahara Private Boarding School.
World Peace Clown?
It's just some Technicolor dude standing in front of a bunch of children in, suit and ties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah.
Sadly,
Well, that's
I guess,
nice.
Yeah. Sadly, there's no such thing as actual clown boarding school, just clown college.
Yep. Anyway. Have fun with this part.
Oh, it's my turn? 13
Yep.
years passed?
Yep.
13 years passed, and a new avatar was born named Aang.
God damn it. But when he was needed most, he disappeared.
13 years passed until the night Isaac's father came home particularly drunk and got into an argument with his wife, as per usual. Things escalated to physical violence once again. However, this time she didn't get back up. Isaac's father had beaten his wife to a dead, bloody pulp and was sentenced to hang at the gallows the next day. With both of his parents dead, this meant that the now 20-year-old Isaac inherited the dusty old house that he spent the earlier half of his childhood in. Laughing Jack was quite surprised when he heard his old friend's footsteps walking up the stairs to the attic room for the first time in 13 years. However, it was not the reunion Jack hoped for.
Again, it's the whole thing is like, this shit's just done for shock value. It's like when it's just for that reason, there's nothing. Like when it serves no other real purpose, it's just empty. It's like the implied child rape scene in the Left Behind movies.
Ugh.
It's like, wow, good for you. Isaac looked different. Not only was he older, but he also seemed to possess this odd, grim look on his face. No longer was he the hopeful and curious young boy Jack first met all those years ago. Jack was eagerly awaiting Isaac's releasing him from the prison he had waited in for so many years. But still Jack's box sat there, untouched and unnoticed on a shelf in the corner of the room with all the other dusty, unwanted knickknacks. Isaac had completely forgotten about his old friend, dismissed him as some sort of early childhood fabrication. You know what just popped into my mind?
What?
Same situation, but if Jack hadn't been forced back into the box. Holy shit, you were real!
He's just sitting on the bed still. You're back! Hello!
How ya doing, Isaac? What the
He's got
fuck?
like a wife and kids now, and like he brings him into the room, just
Oh god. Oh.
That's all he can say. He can't even fully process it. Says he's just like, ugh. Especially because he's like all monochrome now, right? He's not even all coloring vibrantly like he remembers.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. He's still connected.
Well, I'm imagining if he had been doing the stuff we were debating, he might not be black and white right now.
Yeah, pretty much, as the story implied it. But I'm thinking more like if he's still connected to Isaac, maybe when Isaac got all grim and depressed, Jack became more monochrome.
Okay, that might actually be putting more thought into this than the author did.
Yay! I did it good. I did a thunk.
Surprisingly, this made Laughing Jack feel nothing. He was hollow. 13 years of waiting and disappointment left the monochrome clown void of sorrow and self-pity. Jack remained in his box, colorless and without emotion.
The next day, Isaac went off to work at his job as an upholster. Wow, upholsterer. Wow, haven't seen an
He went to do his job as a couch.
Doing furniture repairs for the good people of London and getting sat on? What?
I mean, I've done the human chair thing before, but, wait. Shit, was that out loud?
Jack waited in captivity. Hours later, a drunken Isaac returned home and stumbled up the stairs to his room. But this time he had a friend with him. Ooh, it was a lady friend, Isaac picked up at the bar earlier that evening. She was beautiful with flowing blonde hair, sapphire blue eyes, and a smile that could make her heart melt.
That sounds dangerous.
Please don't smile. You're melting the furniture again.
Don't smile. You've killed people. Just smile. Funk.
Laughing Jack's attention was drawn to Isaac's new guest. Who is this? A new friend? Why does Isaac need? I thought I was Isaac's. Wow, it's almost like 13 fucking years passed! Jack thought to himself from within his hellish confinement. Isaac and his lady friend sat down on the bed and chatted about life in London. Isaac made a joke about the weather and they both laughed. Rain.
I mean, we only have like 1 week of summer.
Is that really true up there in London?
Basically, yeah.
Damn! Then again, they can have some of our summer.
Fuck. Hell, our spring this year was a summer, basically. It didn't rain until partway through July.
And now it's raining all through winter, I bet.
Oh, God. Well, it started warming up.
It was kind of warm today, wasn't it?
Yeah!
Man.
Remember when there was that whole thing about there supposedly being snow last week? That didn't happen, but it was still cold as balls to the point where you could see your breath?
Yeah. Fuck, it's only fall. I just realized we're not getting that cold again for time. God. How am I going to wear my scarves now?
Laughing Jack hissed with envy over Isaac's new friend. Someone's jealous. Isaac and the girl looked deeply into each other's eyes as they leaned in for a kiss, locking lips with a passionate swirling of tongues in one another's mouths. And then he challenged her to a duel and popped out his Yu-Gi-Oh deck. This is how this works, right? Jack was perplexed by this strange display of affection, for he had never seen kissing before. I'm uncomfortable. I'm very uncomfortable. And I don't think that the writer meant for this part to be this uncomfortable. In this way, anyway.
Yeah.
Making out with someone, and then there's this fucking clown peeping in. It's like a level of uncomfortable that I don't think the writer intended.
What if you
like, I think the writer was just like, fuck, that's like in Endless Love, where you have this scene where like the two main characters do it, but the girl's mother's watching from the balcony. And it's implied that she masturbated. It's like, But unlike that movie, in which that probably was intentionally uncomfortable, I don't think this one was.
What if, like, he just decides to pop out right now? Like, hello, Isaac! Who's your new friend?
Three-way?
Clown three-way.
Oh, God. I'm not gonna lie, if this scene ended with someone getting spit roasted by some random Englishman and a clown.
This is the wrong story. This isn't a creepypasta. This is a fanfiction.
Fuck. Just as the kissing grew more intense, Isaac ran his hand along the girl's smooth thigh and upper dress, as opposed to her scaly thigh. However, his guest just brushed his hand away.
Good.
Isaac was persistent, though, because of course he was.
Because now he's his dad.
Yeah. Don't you love how subtle this story is?
Yeah.
And once again ran his hand along her smooth thigh and upper skirt, this time placing his hand upon her silk undergarment. I don't know why, but there's something just specifically about the idea of just placing your hand on someone's underwear.
Is she not wearing pants right now? Is she just in a dress? Like, he's got to lift up the entire thing real quick, just like...
Yeah, she's in a dress. It's the 1800s.
Yeah, but, like, those are not... How long were those dresses?
You'd expect there to be some form of, like, long underwear underneath.
Yeah, but I'm also just thinking, like, they weren't small dresses
No.
either. They were, like, all the way down. So this dude's got to go down, lift it all the way up just to get to
Because I think the 1800s includes the Victorian era.
Let's see, 1800s dresses.
Victorian
Yes.
era. Oh, wait, what the hell? Apparently it lasted until, like, yeah. So this likely would have been, like, pre-Victorian era. So
Yeah, he's got to pull up a lot of fabric.
he's got to go under a lot of shit. Like, it's not like cage skirt era where he has to get under a metal cage.
Yeah, it's not that, but still.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Imagine if it was, though, and he actually just had to, like, shove
Because
his
the whole
face
thing,
under
placing his hand on her undergarments. Wait, you mean the things that went down to her ankle?
there.
The woman took great displeasure in Isaac's sexual advancements and pushed Isaac away before delivering a hard smack across his face.
Stupid!
I didn't get there.
What?
I didn't get there.
You're still talking?
Yes. Isaac's eyes darkened as he glared at the woman. His once drunken passion turned into booze-filled anger. The woman's heart sped up as she saw Isaac's face boil with rage.
Grr. You stupid whore! Isaac yelled as he smashed his fist into.
Oh, lovely, he's an incel. You won't sleep with me, therefore you're a whore. That's
Isn't that the
totally
exact opposite of a whore?
Yeah, that.
You know what that sounds like to me? A woman with standards.
Yeah, that sounds like, a human being. Oh, you know what? I just don't feel like fucking tonight.
No fucks were given that night.
Well, obviously. Laughing Jack's eyes widened as he witnessed the long streaks of red liquid gushing from the girl's nose. What game is this? He thought, as his eyes averted to such violent sights.
Okay.
Well, I'm uncomfortable. Isaac firmly clutched the woman's wrist with one hand and tore her panties with the other. Again, pre-Victorian era.
I don't like where this is going.
I don't think anyone does. Let me see. Let's. I mean, base way to. I'll just summarize the earlier thing. He forcibly gropes her, forces his tongue down her throat. She tries to flee. He grabs her by the bed. All right. There we go.
Reaching back then, or?
Yeah, reaching back, because that's no longer an attempted rape scene.
Reaching back, he wielded a lead candlestick off the nightstand.
Who makes those out of lead?
And with all of his might, bashed in the back of the young woman's head, which burst open like a ripe watermelon. Ugh.
Delicious.
Thick blood splattered across the room as the girl's body convulsed ground for seconds, completely still.
Oh god, you're like cutting out our... like, convulsed on like it was convulsed ground seconds, completely still.
Thick blood scattered across the room as the girl's body convulsed on the ground for several seconds, before going completely still. Blood was everywhere. Some droplets even managed to get on Laughing Jack's box, who was very much enjoying the show. For the first time in 13 long years, a smile began to creep across Laughing Jack's face, and all escaped his cold lips, then another and another, until Jack was cackling and howling with laughter from inside his sealed box.
What a wonderfully fascinating game! Jack thought as he watched the motionless girl's golden blonde hair flow red with blood.
As her adrenaline began to mellow, Isaac realized what he had disposed of the body. He picked up the girl's lifeless corpse and plopped it on the bed. What, no funny pun this time?
Why would there be a pun? What the hell?
Or alliteration or whatever.
Oh, okay.
He then left the room, closing the door behind him and locking it before the house.
This lady's lifeless body.
He returned almost a full day later and re-entered the room, bringing with him a metal
garbage can and a bag of upholstery tools from work. He then cleared everything from the wooden desk on the wall opposite to the door and then dragged the bed with the bloody corpse into the middle of the... That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
This not only gave Isaac room to work, but it also gave Laughing Jack a front row seat to the whole spectacle.
Lovely.
Jack watched with a big, unfading grin as Isaac played with his new game with the soiled corpse. Once Isaac was all set, he got to work. What?
The specific use of the word soiled describing the corpse.
What about it?
I don't... if I look back up at that attempted scene, because it never says that he actually ever successfully penetrated. But the term soiled...
she soiled her pants.
No. The term soiled corpse in this context seems to imply that he fucked the dead body.
I thought it means soiled like all the liquids have left the body, because that's what happens when you die.
I don't know, the specific use of the word soiled seems to have the same sort of implication as sullied or tainted.
I'm thinking soiled diaper.
Well, you've had to deal with a lot less this sort of shit than me, I guess.
Because soil means to make dirty. It's just saying that the body's dirty.
Well, whenever it's used in a sexual context is what I'm meaning. In a context that can be attributed to sex in some way. It was a sexual crime.
The crime was, but now he's trying to dispose of the body.
I'm just saying in the context given.
We're just interpreting it different ways, whatever.
In the context given, that's the feeling I'm getting off that use of the
word. Alright, well. Don't agree with you, but okay.
First, he dumped out the contents of his big black tool bag onto the work table behind him. An assortment of knives, hammers, pliers, and other tools were now laid out before him. He first picked up his curved upholstery knife, which he used to carefully skin the body. That skin was then placed on the racks to be stretched and turned into leather. Oh yeah, he's a London Ed Gein. A man who also, last I checked, I'm pretty sure fucked the corpses of the people he killed. Once that was put in place, Isaac then used a handsaw to saw off the arms, legs, and head, disturbing the home of several families of maggots in the process.
How does she already have maggots? It's only been a day.
Yeah, I don't think they grow quite that... Well, also it's been indoors, so unless he left the windows open...
Yeah, see, he's just...
Because, the flies can get to a body within the course of one day, it's just the fact that...
I don't think the babies are going to be born in a day.
Well, I don't know, I'm not a forensic scientist.
Neither am I.
After filling the garbage can with bleach and other vile chemicals, he submerged the limbs until the meat was stripped from the bone. Isaac fished the bones out of the soupy corpse juice. Classy. And placed them on the work table. Then, in the cover of night, he brought the trash can outside and dumped the rotten remains into the London sewers to be swept away into the harbor.
If this wasn't a city, he could just fed it to a pig.
You're not wrong.
Alright, then let's see.
For the next 3 days.
For the next 3 days, Laughing Jack watched wonderment. The inspired Isaac crafted the once human anatomy into a grotesque armchair abomination. The femur was mated to the back legs of the chair, while the tibia with the feet still attached, of course, was made to the front of the chair. One frame was used for the base of and backing of the chair. However, the rim of the backing was crafted using the spinal column. The arm bones were used as the arms of the chair and were fastened in the place by some ribs.
So yeah, he really is just a London Ed Gein.
He really is the serial killer we were predicting him to be when he killed the cat.
Yeah. Which, for those of you who don't know, Ed Gein is the serial killer that Hannibal Lecter, Leatherface, and Buffalo Bill were based on.
That's a lot of people he's bust off of.
Yeah, well, that are based off him.
Yeah.
What he was known for doing was murdering, I think it was primarily women, and then he'd use their body parts to make things, including
Gross.
a lampshade made out of human skin. If memory serves, he actually used the exterior of a woman's vagina as a curtain pull. Like, he had that at the end of, like, the cord for the curtain. He had a pair of gloves made out of human skin.
Ugh.
I think there was also a chair he made.
It's fucking gross.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
So yeah. And he also would eat the flesh.
Whatever was left over.
Yeah. Let's see. The now leathery flesh was sewn onto the seat and backing of the chair, and the golden blonde hair was braided into a lining for the base. Atop this armchair from hell sat the skull that once belonged to the girl who had the golden blonde hair with sapphire eyes, and the smile that could melt hearts.
I don't think she was smiling in those last moments.
Again, it's one of those things where they brought that up to try to drive home the brutality of the situation, but it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac was quite pleased with his work, and Laughing Jack too was impressed by his old playmate's profound creativity. Really, because when it comes to chairs made of bones, that's kind of eh.
What if he just kept the girl smiling so he could use chairs laser? Or just
God.
radiation.
Turned her face into a death ray.
Yep, just like the cops come in, we're here to arrest you. Just turns his head out of the way, the smile behind him. They just all die.
But yeah, when it's to bone chairs, I'm pretty sure I've seen much better. This is kind of meh.
Yeah, he's already sewn the skin back on, so it's not even a authentic
Well,
bone
no,
chair.
that's just for the cushion of the chair. I mean, you don't want your ass to be uncomfortable when you're sitting down. You think it's going to be like a wood seat?
I guess I just have very low standards for sitting.
That night, Isaac never touched another drop of alcohol again, for he was now possessed with a more macabre thirst.
Interpretive dance. In the following weeks, Isaac made several improvements to his little workshop of mattress from the bed and put a row of thick wooden planks in its place, and then he fastened an arm and leg restraints at the bottom and sides.
Have fun sleeping, asshole.
This would mean he would be able to entertain his guests for a longer period without them trying any rude escape attempts. Isaac needed only one final thing before planning another grotesque party. He worked on it for weeks straight, hand carving it out of wood.
I'm just trying to figure out the exact situation that caused it to where he was all right, you know what? This is much better than sex.
You know what's better than fucking people? Fucking people over because they're dead.
Fucking corpses.
Exactly.
But the immediate thing that comes to mind is the only way I can see that actually happening is a situation with John Wayne Gacy, in which when he got his start as a serial killer, what ended up happening is he slept with this dude, and then what ended up happening is that the other dude woke up first and had made a sandwich for him for breakfast. And so when John Wayne Gacy woke up, what he saw was the dude he had just had sex with in the doorway holding a plate with a sandwich on it and a knife. And so John Wayne Gacy, thinking he was about to be killed, jumped up and started strangling the dude to death. And then realized that he had orgasmed while killing the dude. And that's how he got his start as a serial killer.
This reminds me of that stupid picture where it's just no, think of the children.
Oh, God.
Boner.
And so yeah, I know. So what I'm wondering, was this a whole situation of whenever he smashed her head open, he just suddenly orgasmed?
He popped a quick boner.
No, I'm pretty sure he was already full mast with what he was
trying to do before. Maybe.
So I'm just imagining because most serial killers are driven by a sexual motive. Like, that's nothing new. So, does that mean that when he busted her head open, that he orgasmed right then? Like, that's what caused this?
I really hope not.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Honestly, I'm just surprised that they never mentioned that.
I don't know. This story's got enough creepy stuff in it already.
Well,
and by
honestly,
creepy, I mean like rape, like disturbing kind
yeah,
of shit.
yeah. After a coat of white paint was applied, Isaac's creation was complete. It was a wooden mask, of course it was, resembling something that one would wear to a Venetian masquerade ball. Had a furrowed brow and a long troll-like nose. And it would allow him to strike...
Oh no, a man in a mask. Whatever shall I do?
Oh no, masquerade mask. Oh no. Ooh. Scare. In the hearts of his beloved guests, with his new face complete and his room transformed into a bloody murder nest, it was finally time for Isaac Lee Grossman to bring home a new playmate. Kind of late for them to bring up his last name.
Yep.
Actually, fuck. If I search this name...
Do it.
Well, the first thing that pops up is oh my god, it's a... wait, what the... I've actually got a tombstone that popped up. Two of them, actually. One of them, a dude who died in 1888. And another dude who died in 1939.
I think this is just a name.
Well, also the whole thing that I'm seeing with these graves is the Star of David.
I'm seeing it. Alright, so...
You looked him up too?
I looked up Isaac Lee Grossman. That's what you're looking up, right?
Yeah.
I see a picture of a dude with skeleton bones and like green skin, kind of like he looks like a zombie.
Yeah.
Holding a picture of a dude with a masquerade mask. Kind of like they drew Isaac Lee Grossman from, the story. Oh boy.
Yeah. Most of them I'm seeing are connected with the story. What I was trying to figure out is if they actually cribbed the name of an actual serial killer.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
That's what I was
picture
wondering.
Of colorful laughing Jack.
Yeah. But what I'm seeing with a lot of the tombstones is the Star of David, so I guess the sudden reason to tell us his last name is to reveal the fact that he's Jewish? What does that have anything to do with anything?
Maybe this person is just anti-Jew.
Anti-Semitic?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, your go.
That
following night.
I'm not even...
That following night.
That following night, Laughing Jack watched as Master Isaac Grossman stepped up the stairs, carrying with him a large burlap sack with his newest guest writhing within. He dumped the bag out on his torture bed, and out plopped a bound, gagged, and very frightened young boy, probably 5 or 6 years old.
Also, again, I'm going to bring up the fact that most serial killers are sexually motivated, so good job on you, story. You fucking sack of shit.
Quickly undid the boy's bindings and held him down as he restrained his hands in the steel bed frame. Tears streamed endlessly down the boy's helpless little face as Isaac laid out his tools on the workbench. Isaac returned wielding a pair of rusty pliers, and wasting no time, he slid the bottom jaw of the pliers under the boy's fingernail on his right index finger and clamped tightly. The boy's lips quivered as he began muttering through the gag, begging Isaac to let him go. Isaac smirked as he slowly bent the pliers backward, painfully prying off the first fingernail. What if he was just too weak to get an adult, and that's why he's murdering children?
So he's a really shit serial killer.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the whole thing. Most of a serial killer's victims are driven by a sexual motivation. like as I've pointed out before, so the fact that the first person, aside from an attempted rape, that we've seen him kill is a child.
Fuck, how long have we been reading?
The boy screamed, I don't know. The boy screamed through his gag as he writhed in agony on the wooden board, his finger beginning to gush with blood. Isaac then moved on to the boy's middle finger, firmly grasping the nail with the rusty pliers. Once again, he jerked the pliers back, but this time the nail only tore off halfway. The boy yelped in pain as his fingers twitched and shot with blood. Clamping the half-pried-off nail, Isaac gave it another yank. The nail tore off, but not without taking a good deal of skin tissue with it. Even Isaac was a bit rebuffed by this painful sight, unlike the spying laughing Jack, who was cackling with joy at the disturbed action he watched from within his old dusty box. Sure glad the story isn't exploitative.
Oh, for sure.
Waiting on you.
Where are we now?
Isaac returned.
Isaac returned to the workbench and swapped the pliers for a large iron hammer. He bed where with one hand he held down the boy's left leg. Oh no, he raised the hammer high above his head, and his boy cried and pleaded for mercy, though his dirty gag. Then with all his might, Isaac slammed the hammer down onto the boy's bare kneecaps, shattering the bone into gravel with a loud crack. The child convulsed in pain with shrill screams, muffling the cloth gag tied tightly to his face. Oof.
As the child struggled with intense pain, Isaac placed the hammer down on the wooden bed and returned once more to the workbench, where he equipped himself with a long, sharp knife. Also, thing to point out, I think it seems to be implying that he wore the mask out. You know, an easy way to get noticed?
A mask.
Exactly. This isn't the day of CCTV cameras and shit. You just need to make sure that you're not easily noticeable.
For real. But no! I gotta wear a mask and look creepy in the 1800s.
Let's see. Equipped himself with a long, sharp knife. Without delay, he began carving the useless worm into the child's quivering chest. Someone's projecting. When he finished, the boy was barely conscious. Isaac knelt down and whispered into the boy's ear. This is what happens to rotten children who make nasty faces at people. Well, that's a really petty reason to kill someone. Again, this guy's just a shit-tier serial killer.
Well, the story's bad, so it's not gonna have a good serial killer.
Well, obviously. Here we go.
The child's eyes fills with tears one final time as Isaac began to carve the skin off the boy's face. But to Isaac's surprise, the boy still clung to life. Oh no. The mutilated
Not like
child
he punctured any major organs or anything.
Isaac, with his big round eyes, which filled Isaac's black heart with rage and hatred.
It's not like he's done anything to any major organs or anything. He broke one leg, tore 2 nails out of one hand, and cut his face off. That's literally it.
He'd faint from shock before he died from that, alright?
Yeah, he probably would have fainted from, like, the broken leg, maybe, but... Again, it's hinted that it happened at the knee, not like at the thigh or something where it could, like, hit the femoral artery or any shit.
I'm pretty sure when he started cutting off the face, he'd start fainting at least.
He probably would have been in a lot of pain, but the whole thing about the face is that, yeah, it bleeds for a while, but at the same time, that's just because there's a lot of vessels. And even then, it's not like you're gonna bleed to death from getting your face cut off. You'd probably die of infection before that.
Yeah.
Even without a face, you're still an ugly little shit, Isaac shouted as he picked up the hammer from the foot of the bed and began to bash the poor boy's skull in. Again, someone's projecting.
He smashed it over and over until it was nothing but bloody caved-in mass of flesh, pouring thick red blood and oozing out chunks of brain matter. From across the room, Laughing Jack gleefully observed the grand finale, which had lived up to his expectations quite wonderfully.
Really? Because this is more meeting the expectations of one of the fucking Hostel movies.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute dog shit with no characters that you can actually get into. Oh, hey, look, it's torture. This isn't scary.
It's just, I'll admit, it makes me a bit squeamish to think about, but it's not scaring me. It's just like, ugh, gross.
It's cringe horror.
Mm-hmm. Major cringe.
Isaac's next guest was a blind old woman. Again, I feel the need to point out that most serial killers' kills are sexually motivated.
Maybe he's just a... Maybe he just wants to fuck everyone.
He was going for a gummy. He wanted a gum job. Who he had invited over for some tea. It took her almost 5 minutes to realize the chair she was sitting on was crafted using human remains. She's blind!
Of course she wouldn't notice!
How would she... Oh dearie, the arms of this chair feel weirdly like bone.
You're just thinking things. It's not really bone. Yes, it is. What was that, dearie? Nothing.
And another 6 minutes to find the stairs, only to topple down them, flailing and screaming like a loon. They're mocking the old woman.
Wow.
Isaac decided to end the cruel joke with a simple ice pick through her eye socket.
After that, he brought over a little girl. Oh no!
Yeah!
Force-fed broken glass before using her stomach as a punching. Ugh.
Also, did you notice that after the young boy, he didn't seem to use, no real mention of the torture bed after?
Yep.
Well, that
As
was
the
a
weeks
waste.
went by, more and more unlucky souls met their end at Isaac Grossman's attic, and as the mad Grossman's personality became more dark and sadistic, Laughing Jack's personality followed suit while he rotted within the dusty box. Until one very cold December night.
Ah, fuck, I should have saved this for the Christmas episode.
Yeah. Just don't
Merry
upload it.
Christmas, everybody. We're going to talk about torture.
Yay!
I mean, that does seem like a proper Christmas.
Nah. Christmas is fun, at least for me.
Okay, so if it was good torture. I swear, people keep talking about wanting a traditional Christmas, but the moment I sacrifice a goat, I've gone too far.
Or when we all go throughout the town rampaging and rioting.
Yeah.
Where's the Hobo King?
Yeah. Or I want to challenge someone to a game of hot cockles.
I haven't heard of that.
You haven't heard that? Basically what that is it's typically something that was done in the olden times to prepare for, Christmas shopping.
What was it then?
Basically, you'd have one person in the center of a circle, a group of friends, and they're blindfolded. And then the people in the circle punch them, and they have to guess who punched them. Let's bring that back.
I could see that going really badly, but alright.
That definitely felt like Tom. It felt like someone who'd watch a Medea movie.
That felt like a punch from a Medea lover. Oh god.
The rusty nails that were holding up the shelf of the forgotten knickknacks finally gave way and the whole thing plummeted to the ground. Isaac heard the loud thud from downstairs and decided to climb up to the attic to investigate. He walked across the blood-stained wood floor of the attic and over toward the fallen shelf. Isaac brushed aside some of the trinkets that broke in the crash when he finally came across the Jack-in-the-Box from his childhood. Isaac recognized the old, tattered box as he picked it up and blew off some of the dust. Then, for whatever nostalgic reason, He decided to grasp the box's rusty clank and began turning it.
A horribly off-key Pop Goes the Weasel clanked from the worn-out old box as it reached its climax. Isaac sung along with the final verse, Pop Goes
Why did
the
these
Weasel.
characters only sing along with the last one? I mean, there was the, I swear there was a thing brought up in the original, too.
Because people don't actually know the song.
Round
know
and
the
round
last
the mulberry
verse.
bush, the monkey chased the weasel. Monkey thought it was all in good fun. Pop goes the weasel.
The top of the box swung open, but nothing happened. It was empty! This bitch
Yeet.
empty! Yeet!
Yeet!
Isaac expected as much as he tossed the old box in the garbage with the other broken knickknacks. After the mess was cleaned up, he went to open the door to go back downstairs, but it was stuck. Isaac pulled hard, but the door wouldn't budge. Just then he heard the most horrible raspy voice call out from behind him.
I
You cut out in the middle, but
did. Fuck.
I heard
Isaac!
There we go.
A cold jolt ran down Isaac's spine, and the hairs on the back of his neck stood straight up as he slowly turned around. All the way across the room by the garbage can stood the nightmarish Laughing Jack. He was completely monochrome. His mangled black hair hung down in twisted locks. Sharp, jagged teeth decorated his twisted chin. What the hell? Grin. Fuck.
Ooh.
His chin's covered in teeth. And his arms hung down like a ragdoll, with his grotesquely long fingers nearly scraping the floor.
Then, with a bone-chilling, raspy voice, the fiend spoke. How nice it is to be to finally be free. Did you miss me, Isaac? Honey, the fuck?
Isaac was paralyzed in fear. But I thought you weren't real. Imaginary, Isaac stuttered. Jack replied with a horrifying cackle.
Oh, I'm quite real. In fact, I've been waiting such a time for this day to finally come, when I can play with my best friend for life. One last time. Before Isaac could reply, Jack's long arm stretched across the room, wrapped around Isaac's legs.
Again, with the way that you said it, I really was tempted to say, again, a reminder that most serial killers are sexually motivated.
Well, at least one of them is in this story.
I've been waiting such a long time for this day to finally come, when I can play my best friend for life. Spread them cheeks, boy! The twisted clown began pulling him closer, dragging him onto his own wooden torture bed as Isaac's fingernails scraped along the floor. Ignoring the restraints, Jack swiftly grabbed 4 3-inch long iron nails from the workbench and pressed them straight through Isaac's hands and feet, nailing him into the wooden torture bed. Isaac growled in pain as he shouted at his captor, "Ah, fuck you, goddamn clown-nosed freak!"
Ooh, don't call him that.
Also, I know he's supposed to be English, but fuck me if this writing isn't American as shit.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
I mean, they called it a bar.
They're pubs, right?
Yeah, pubs.
Hey, I know words.
Short for public house.
Laughing Jack just chuckled as he forcefully held Isaac's head and stating, "If you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all."
I'm kind of disappointed you didn't do a voice for that one.
If you can't say something nice, then don't say anything at all. Jack reached his long, crooked fingers around Isaac's mouth, firmly grasping his tongue and stretched it out.
Firmly grasp it.
As far as it could go, the clown then reached back and grabbed a long, sharp knife from the table and slowly began to slice through the meat of Isaac's tongue. Once loved off, Isaac's mouth began to overflow with blood. Jack responded by shoving a small cylindrical metal tube through Isaac's throat to act as a temporary breathing hole. At this point, Isaac was already in great pain and had his eyes clenched shut to avoid seeing the sickening horrors that were being performed on his body.
Did he just perform a tracheotomy?
Maybe. Ugh, I don't know. Ugh. I don't want to think about this, please. I don't like cringe horror, alright?
Come on. It's no fun if you don't watch. Laughing Jack said playfully, but Isaac kept his eyes tightly shut. Laughing Jack sighed. Suit yourself. Jack then forcibly held open one of Isaac's eyes. He reached back with his big arm and took some of the long, pointy fishing hooks from the workbench. You know, the workbench that was primarily composed of, upholstery tools. Slowly, Jack reached the sharp end of the hook, pushed the shark into the hook through the top eyelid straight through the bottom of the eyebrow and then out the top, permanently pinning it open. Then he took out a second hook, pushing it through the bottom eyelid and pinning it to the cheek. Jack repeated the process to the other eye, and before long, a series of sharp metal hooks made sure Isaac didn't miss out on any of the action.
Alright, serial killer idea. You know all these stories about how they're supposed to be torturous and all that stuff and creepy and they take a long time?
Yeah.
I want a perfectionist / completionist serial killer who tries to disembowel people as fast as possible.
Oh, God.
Like he's got strats for what he wants
new
to do.
record.
And that's what he's doing. He's just trying to kill them faster and faster each time.
Even better, have it to where he's not only does he do that, but he's also trying to dissect them, so he's making sure to group the organs together. So he gets it to where they're all separated. So, alright, we got large intestine here, we got small intestine here, liver, stomach, pancreas.
I'm just picturing he runs across one, let's say, large person, and he's having trouble since it's not the normal bodies he's working with, and he gets super pissed off and throws a fit because he can't work properly on this different body type.
Yeah, or he'll just completely lose it if he cuts too deep and accidentally damages the organs while cutting open the skin.
And it just flips out on them and just he does that thing when people rage, that throw their computer essentially thing, but he just starts wildly stabbing them and shit.
Then he flips the autopsy table.
Just screaming out many curses.
Yeah.
If the person was alive, you could see them try to get away before he'd just be He just if he does it incorrectly, he just kills them on the spot. No torture, no nothing. It's just fuck.
Yeah.
Flips the table, kills them off, and then just moves on.
Yeah, it's sad whenever something like fucking Vomit Slaughter Dolls or Where the Dead Go to Die has me more interested than this.
Let's just get through it then.
Yeah. He repeated the process with the other eye, and before long, made sure he didn't miss out on any of the action. Laughing Jack then took the same knife he had used to lob off Isaac's tongue and began to focus on the removal of Isaac's lips. Jack carefully sliced 2 long strips of flesh off of Isaac's upper and lower mouth, causing his teeth and gums to be completely exposed, not explosed.
Explosion. Looks like someone hasn't been flossing regularly, Laughing Jack cackled under his breath. Looks like someone hasn't been flossing
Looks like someone hasn't been flossing regularly.
Looks like someone hasn't been flossing regularly.
I'm gonna fuck that mouth.
I'm gonna fuck that mouth.
Oh God, stop it.
Laughing Jack cackled under his breath as he reached back and grabbed the hammer. It was time.
Stop. Hammer time.
Isaac attempted to mutter some kind of beg for mercy. However, only gurgled moans escaped his throat.
Well, he's missing most of his tongue and his lips, and he just had a tracheotomy performed on him. Gee!
Jack raised that hammer into the air, and with a twisted grin, he slammed it down, giving off a loud crack as the iron hammer shattered Isaac's like brittle clay. Jack dropped the hammer and began to howl with laughter as he tore open Isaac's shirt. Taking the sharpest knife, Jack cut straight down Isaac's chest all the way all the way down past his stomach. Isaac groaned with sharp, stinging pain as a monochrome monster wormed his wretched fingers underneath the skin on Isaac's chest, peeling it back as he was about to perform his horrible live autopsy.
First, Jack began to pull out Isaac's intestines in the same manner a magician would pull a series of colorful claws out of his pocket.
What?
Then, after snipping off a small length of intestines, Jack pressed one end against his cold black lips and began blowing air into the foul organ. Once inflated, he twisted it up into the shape of a poodle.
No!
Well, okay, here's the thing. At least it's doing something with the clown theme.
Yes. Let's give them that. And only that.
If it had started out... Hell, if the first one had a scene in which he made a balloon animal out of someone's intestines.
That's like an idea I would expect and actually like to see from like a horror clown. Balloon
Yeah!
animal from intestines. That's like...
That's the shit I hate in like shit like that. It's like, oh, you got a clown as your serial killer. You gonna do anything clown related? Nope, okay.
At least let him have like a nose that he can haunt.
Yeah, no, this one just has like a fucking ice cream cone for a nose.
Does he... Lame.
And with a loud chuckle exclaimed, I can do giraffes too! Okay, you know what? This might be the only good paragraph in the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac remained still in pain and shock as the clown creature gently placed the macabre balloon animal beside Isaac's head.
For his next trick, and Laughing Jack reached into Isaac's open stomach cavity and yanked out one of his kidneys. Holding it in his hand, Jack turned to his captive friend and shrugged, stating that kidneys really aren't my thing.
Fuck, was that a reference?
To?
Eyeless Jack.
I hope not.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Tossing the organ aside, Laughing Jack noticed that Isaac was beginning to drift into... He should already be dead! You made balloon animals!
Well, you can have your intestines removed, but it's the fact that he's bleeding... Like, he just had his teeth smashed out. Like, fucking eyeball... Like, he hasn't technically had anything that would cause instant death yet. But he should be bleeding profusely and possibly already unconscious.
Mm-hmm. But no. They've got to find miraculous torture techniques that keeps everyone alive and going for as long as they need.
Feeling tired already? Why, we're nearly at the grand finale! Laughing Jack exclaimed as he reached into his sleeve and pulled out a long adrenaline needle. Why is that a thing he can make? This ought to perk you right up! Jack shouted as he slammed the needle into Isaac's retina and injected the liquid into his right eye socket.
Just a magic adrenaline needle, yeah, how can...
I mean, like, an adrenaline, like, getting an injection of adrenaline will end up, like, basically, like, immediately waking you the fuck up.
Yeah, but won't it make him bleed faster, too?
Yes, actually.
So he's just killing him quicker.
Well, kind of. Like, it's the whole thing. Like, so far we haven't had anything happen that would cause, like, immediate death. I mean, like, the worst we had is, like, his tongue getting cut out.
This is why we need a speedrun killer. He'd be able to do all that torture stuff quickly in, like, 5 seconds.
Well, he wouldn't even do the torture shit.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, yeah. He just you're dead.
But it's the whole thing, like, I'm trying to think if, like, during the 1800s they were familiar with the concept of adrenaline being used that way. Because I do know that, like, in those sorts of situations, yeah, you would give them, like, a shot of if you had it on hand, you would give, like, the patient a shot of adrenaline to, like, bring them back when they're fading.
I think people are still sawing off limbs.
Yeah, that's that whole thing. Jack wiggled and twisted the needle further into his old playmate's eyeball as Isaac reeled back into life to the feeling of a sharp needle scraping the back of his eye socket. With a sinister chuckle, Jack yanked the needle out, pulling the eyeball out with it. Isaac's right eye hung out of his socket by the eye stalk as it dribbled down the side of his face.
Jack smirked. Well, now that I have your full attention, then took his long, crooked index finger and poked a hole in Isaac's stomach. Jack lowered his head down toward the chest cavity and stretched his mouth open wide. Within seconds, a torrent of filthy cockroaches started crawling out of the clown's gullet, spilling onto Isaac's open chest. Each vile roach crawled out and pushed its way into the small opening in Isaac's stomach, filling it from within full of disgusting, writhing bugs. As his stomach became bloated with bugs, the roaches began to scurry up his throat, squeezing the way out of his mouth and nasal cavity.
Also, I just realized the whole hammer space thing with the needle could kind of make sense for a magic trick for a clown.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of the whole thing of like just pulling shit out of your sleeves, like the magic handkerchief or shit like that.
Oh. He'd have to do like a giant hammer then. At least just like yoink, it's a sledgehammer.
It's the whole thing. Like he'd probably have to do like some form of showmanship when he pulled it out, not just whoop. Here we go. Be fucking theatrical about it. But yeah, that roach scene was lame.
Yep.
Isaac was inches from death when his captor kneeled beside him and spoke into his ear. It's been a blast, kiddo. Looks like our time together is about up. No need for tears, though, because I plan to spread my friendship to all the lonely kids of the world. And with that, Laughing Jack reached into Isaac's chest and yanked out his still beating heart.
And it no longer was beating then, right?
Not at that point anymore, because he ripped out his heart.
Yep. As his life bled out onto the cold bed, Isaac's life flashed before his victim. Last thought.
Oh God! You are cutting out like crazy.
What?
You're cutting out like crazy.
As his life bled out on the cold wooden bed, Isaac's life flashed before his eyes. He saw his mother, his father, at the boarding school, his victims, and the last thought that flashed through his mind was that very special Christmas where he woke up and found the beautifully hand-carven wooden box that contained his very first friend.
I feel like as his life bled out on the cold wooden bed, Isaac's life flashed before his eyes is kind of a redundant sentence. Like, why not say as he bled out on the cold wooden bed, his life flashed before his eyes?
I don't know, because fuck this story, I guess.
There were rumors that when the police finally found Isaac Grossman's rotted, maggot-infested corpse weeks later on Christmas Eve, that even though his face had been bashed and torn to bits, I guess the hammer thing, he looked almost happy.
No.
Yeah, there is a way to do like a fucking torture scene in a way that keeps it interesting, keeps you invested. Where like a fucking train wreck, you cannot look away.
Yeah.
This was not it.
Not at all.
No. This was blase, middle of the fucking road, fucking Eli Roth hostile level shit for the fucking scene. Not to mention the whole thing of, hey, let's just throw in rape because why the fuck not? I did not like this. I did not. Like, it's... just fuck this story. Like, yeah, we got a few good jokes out of it, but just fuck this story. See ya.